You ever get that nagging feeling that there's got to be a better way to spend your days, to build something that, actually moves the needle for you financially and, well,
Oh,
personally?
absolutely.
Like the standard 9 to 5 isn't the only path out there.
That feeling is hitting more and more people, it seems. I mean, the economic landscape is shifting so rapidly, and those old guarantees, they just aren't really there anymore, are they?
Oh, real.
So people are, rightly questioning if there's a more maybe empowering way,
Yeah.
a more flexible approach to creating income and security.
And that brings us right to the audio goldmine you, our listener, sent in this week. It's a complete audiobook of GoPro, 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional by Eric Worre.
Mhm.
All 3 discs just packed with his insight.
Exactly. And our mission with this deep dive is to really um, dissect Worre's take on network marketing,
Mm-hmm.
because he presents it as a serious contender,
Right. Yeah.
a legitimate, better way, as he calls it, to thrive in this evolving economy,
Mm.
not just some casual side gig.
Yeah.
So we're going to pull out the key principles he champions and see what truly actionable knowledge we can extract from it all.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So Worre isn't just some guru who kind of stumbled into success, right? He's got a backstory. Where does his journey into network marketing even begin?
Yeah, he takes us right back to January 1988. Picture this.
Yeah.
He's 23 years old, selling real estate, just got married, new father.
Wow, a lot going on.
Yeah, and already in a tough spot financially, even though he'd earned like $45,000 the previous year, which wasn't bad back then.
Decent money, yeah.
But his issue wasn't really the income. It was simply outspending what he made. So understandably, he was feeling the pressure big time.
So how does network marketing even, cross his radar?
Well, it was a connection of his father's, a guy named John Joyce, who introduces him to the concept. He invites both Worre and his dad to, take a look at something.
Okay.
And Worre's initial reaction, pure skepticism, like with a capital S. He describes watching this video that just felt completely over the top.
Oh.
Mansions, limousines, claims of overnight riches. He said his, quote, natural mental filters just wouldn't accept it. Just felt too good to be true,
Right. That's exactly the kind of presentation that can immediately raise red flags for people. So what actually gets him to sign up then, if he's that skeptical?
Well, the real turning point, and this is interesting, was when his dad and John Joyce decided to move forward without him.
The fear of missing out. FOMO.
Exactly. That fear of being left behind, of seeing them potentially achieve financial freedom while he stayed stuck, that was a powerful motivator. He actually had to ask his dad for a loan just to get started himself.
Wow. Talk about a moment of truth, huh? So he jumps in thinking he's on the fast track to wealth. Or,
Well, he's brutally honest about his initial approach. He says it was completely amateur. He admits he treated it like buying a lottery ticket, just hoping that his timing and, just being involved would be enough.
right?
His primary strategy in those very early days was literally to call every contact his dad had before his dad could get to them.
Oh,
He had some initial, very limited success with this, but as you can probably guess, it wasn't exactly a sustainable way to build a business.
no kidding. That initial burst of luck, or maybe just hustle, runs out pretty fast, I'd imagine. What happens then?
Yeah, after about 3 months, his network marketing income just dried up completely.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people who don't see immediate massive results, he entered the blame game.
The classic blame game.
Totally. His upline support wasn't good enough. The company's training was lacking. He didn't know enough people. The product wasn't quite right. The economy was bad.
Everything but him.
Exactly. He found reasons to point the finger everywhere except, at himself.
It's such a natural human tendency, isn't it? It's always easier to find external reasons than to look inward. But it sounds like that phase didn't last forever for him.
No. Necessity truly became the mother of reinvention, as they say. He'd actually given up his real estate license after that initial little taste of network marketing income.
Oh, wow.
And without a college degree, his job options were pretty limited. He realized that the only viable path he could see to generate cash flow was, well, to return to network marketing.
Had to go back.
Had to go back.
Yeah.
So he buckled down and went back to work. But those early years were a real grind. I mean, he recounts having to rebuild his entire organization an astonishing 7 times in just 3 years.
7 times in 3 years.
7 times. facing constant setbacks, discouragement. I mean, that kind of resilience, you see that in a lot of successful people, regardless of their field, right?
Absolutely.
It really underscores the importance of just not giving up.
7 rebuilds, that's basically the definition of not throwing in the towel. What finally helped him break out of that cycle, that up and down?
It was a really pivotal moment, actually.
Yeah.
Happened the night before a company convention. He was just watching a news program, saw some expert being interviewed, and it sparked a thought. How does someone actually become an expert? He realized it must involve like a conscious decision to learn deeply, to really immerse themselves in the subject, to truly master their craft.
Interesting. Like expertise isn't accidental.
Exactly. It's a choice. And how did that insight shift his approach to network marketing?
Yeah.
Well, the very next day at the convention, watching the successful distributors up on stage, it all just clicked. He realized that he could choose to become an expert in network marketing.
Yeah.
He can make a deliberate decision to focus on developing the necessary skills instead of just, crossing his fingers for luck or better timing or waiting for that mythical superstar recruit who would magically build his business for him.
That makes so much sense.
That day, he says, marked a complete shift in his mindset and his commitment. He decided right then to become a true professional.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me, because having shared his personal turning point, Worre starts connecting network marketing with the larger shifts happening in the economy. What's his perspective there?
Yeah, he argues that the traditional model, climbing the corporate ladder, that whole idea of guaranteed long-term employment and steady advancement just based on tenure, it's becoming increasingly outdated.
You definitely feel that.
Right. We're moving towards what he calls a performance economy, where compensation is more directly tied to results, not just the hours you put in.
Like sales commissions or...
Yeah, or even you see it everywhere, from servers relying on tips to even many white-collar jobs now incorporating clear performance metrics and bonuses. It's about what you produce.
Why does he believe this fundamental shift is occurring, though?
Well, several key factors. Firstly, it's just a more efficient model for companies, right? They're paying for tangible outcomes.
Sure.
Secondly, the rapid advancement of technology means that the modern economy simply requires fewer people to perform many tasks.
Right.
He points to, the huge decline in agricultural jobs over the last century because of automation.
Right.
The rise of automated call centers, the impact of online shopping on, brick-and-mortar retail.
Blockbuster.
Exactly. The streaming revolution that just fundamentally changed the video rental business, like Blockbuster. Perfect example.
So fewer traditional jobs offering that long-term security we used to expect, and a greater emphasis on individual performance. Where does network marketing fit into this evolving picture for him?
Worre sees network marketing as, ideally suited to this new economic reality.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly efficient form of word-of-mouth marketing, right? And companies can compensate their distributors purely based on their sales and the performance of their teams. Essentially, they're outsourcing their sales force and only paying for results.
Which saves them huge amounts on traditional advertising, I guess.
Precisely. They avoid those massive traditional advertising expenditures.
And what are the advantages he sees for an individual choosing this path as an entrepreneur?
Well, he highlights the significantly lower risk compared to launching, say, a traditional brick-and-mortar business.
Right, where you need huge capital.
Exactly. Where you often have to invest substantial capital, take on considerable debt.
Yeah.
In network marketing, the initial investment is typically much, much smaller. Plus, unlike a traditional job with a set salary, there's no inherent income ceiling.
The sky's the limit, potentially.
Potentially, yeah. Your earning potential is directly linked to your efforts and the growth and productivity of your network.
That certainly sounds appealing. But as we kind of touched on earlier, there's often a perceived downside, isn't there? What's the challenge he discusses?
Yeah, the main challenge, according to Worre, is what he calls the temporary loss of social esteem from ignorant people.
Ooh, okay, tell me more.
He explains that individuals still operating under the old paradigm, traditional employment, who don't yet grasp the potential of network marketing, they might look down on you or question your judgment for getting involved.
Yeah, I can see that.
And this principle, it extends beyond just network marketing, right? Any non-traditional or entrepreneurial path often faces initial skepticism from those who are just more comfortable with the status quo.
That fear of judgment or just being misunderstood, that's definitely a significant hurdle for many people considering anything outside the box.
Absolutely. And he delves into the reasons behind this perception, too. He points out that many newcomers enter network marketing with a totally unrealistic expectation, treating it like that glorified lottery ticket we mentioned earlier.
Hoping for a quick win.
Exactly. Hoping for a quick windfall with minimal effort and, crucially, minimal skill development.
So the lack of a professional approach and then the subsequent lack of results kind of reinforces those negative stereotypes?
Precisely.
Hmm.
They take some, unskilled, uneducated actions, don't achieve the results they were hoping for, and then often blame the entire business model, sometimes quite publicly, saying, oh, it doesn't work.
Yeah, you hear that.
Right. This creates this layer of negative perception that new professionals then have to navigate. Worre really emphasizes the importance of recognizing this as just a temporary social challenge and understanding that you might actually be seeing the future of work before many others do.
Okay, so he set the stage, explained his personal evolution, positioned network marketing within these broader economic shifts, while also acknowledging the social challenges. Now he breaks down the different approaches people take, right? The posers, amateurs, and professionals. Let's start with the posers. What defines them?
Okay, posers. In Worre's definition, they approach network marketing with that lottery ticket mentality we talked about.
Right.
They're hoping for a big payout with the least possible effort. He readily admits to starting in this category himself, remember, hoping to benefit from his dad's and his partner's efforts without really putting in the necessary work.
Okay.
And while he did see some initial, very fleeting results, he acknowledges that this approach is totally unsustainable and ultimately just leads to failure. Posers typically have a very small mental list of potential recruits, maybe 3 or 4 people, and their entire hopes rest on just those few individuals signing up.
And then we have the amateurs. How do they differ from the posers? They sound a bit more serious.
Yeah, amateurs take a slightly more serious stance. They actually create a written list of prospects, which is definitely a step in the right direction.
Okay.
However, their focus tends to be misdirected. Worre shares his own experiences as an amateur, where he was just fixated on luck, hoping to sign that one rock star distributor who would magically explode his business.
Chasing the whale.
Totally. He was also constantly worried about timing, about getting in at the perfect moment, about the company's positioning, and he was always searching for quick fixes or shortcuts.
Like what?
Well, he experimented with the various tactics, like putting ads in newspapers, flyers, constantly chasing the next seemingly easy solution instead of focusing on fundamental skills.
It sounds like a lot of frantic activity, but without a clear, focused strategy. So what's the key distinction then that marks the transition to becoming a professional?
The professional, according to Worre, makes a conscious and deliberate decision to become an expert in the core skills required to build a large and thriving network marketing organization.
Okay, so it's about skill.
It's about skill. They consciously shift their focus away from those external factors like luck and timing and invest their energy in the internal development of their own abilities.
He even offers a critique of that comment saying, ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice, right? What's his take?
Yeah, exactly. He argues that while passion and enthusiasm are undoubtedly important, you need them, they absolutely must be combined with skill to achieve lasting success.
Makes sense.
He uses the analogy of needing a skilled surgeon for an operation, not just one who's incredibly enthusiastic, but lacks the necessary training and expertise.
Good point.
He highlights the irony that people willingly invest years and significant financial resources to become professionals in so many other fields, but are often unwilling to dedicate even a fraction of that time to learning the fundamental skills of network marketing.
And he touches on the time commitment involved in truly mastering a skill, referencing Gladwell's 10,000-hour rule.
Yes, he mentions that general idea that reaching mastery in any field often requires around 10,000 hours of dedicated practice, which, could translate to roughly 7 years of consistent effort.
Wow.
However, and this is key, he points out that network marketing offers a unique advantage. You can earn income while you are in the process of learning and developing those skills.
Why will you learn?
Exactly. The crucial thing is to avoid becoming complacent and to commit to continuous improvement. Don't just plateau.
And what was the tangible impact when Worre himself made that decision to go pro? Did things change?
He says it's transformative.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He stopped chasing those elusive external factors and focused instead on consistent practice and skill development. And interestingly, he also observed a significant positive change in his team's growth.
Really? How so?
He believes that people can actually sense that shift in focus, that commitment to excellence. They're naturally more attracted to someone who is clearly taking their profession seriously. It just creates a sense of confidence and it inspires others.
Okay, so the bedrock is laid. Make a conscious decision to be a professional and prioritize skill development. That leads us perfectly to the core of his teachings, the 7 fundamental skills. What's the overarching message about these skills before we dive into each one?
Well, Worre emphasizes that there are only 7 core skills needed, not some overwhelming, unattainable number.
Okay, 7, that sounds manageable.
Right. And importantly, he stresses that every single one of these skills is learnable. He reiterates that in network marketing, the individual is the critical variable for success.
Not the company or the product necessarily.
Well, everyone within the same company typically has access to the same products and compensation plan, right? So your ability to thrive really hinges on your mastery of these 7 fundamental skills. He also underscores the vital importance of taking complete ownership of your business.
Right. No more blame game.
Exactly. Letting go of the tendency to blame your upline or anyone else for your lack of progress. He famously suggests, metaphorically, saying goodbye to your upline as an excuse for your own results.
All right, let's tackle skill number 1, finding prospects. What's the professional mindset here? How do they approach this?
Okay, the first thing professionals do is challenge that common misconception that success in network marketing is solely dependent on having a huge existing network of contacts.
You mean you don't have to know everyone?
Exactly. While it might seem logical, it's not the defining factor. As we discussed, posers operate with that tiny mental list, hoping a few people will join. Amateurs, they create a written list, but then often become fearful of running out of people to talk to.
The dreaded list is empty feeling.
Right. A fear Worre himself experienced early on. The professional approach involves creating a comprehensive written list as a starting point, sure, but then making a firm, ongoing commitment to never stop adding to that list.
Ah, it's dynamic.
Totally dynamic. They cultivate what he calls an active candidate list. It becomes a continuous process, an integral part of their daily activities. It's about shifting from a limited resource mentality to one of abundance.
That makes perfect sense. It's about transitioning from viewing your network as like a fixed pool to seeing it as a constantly expanding resource. Okay, now, skill number 2, inviting prospects. Worre calls this the gateway skill. Why does it hold such a crucial position?
Well, it's the gateway. Because if you can't effectively invite people to learn more about what you have to offer, whether it is the product or the business opportunity, nothing else you do really matters, does it?
True. No one to talk to.
Exactly. You won't have anyone to present to, no one to follow up with.
Yeah.
And many newcomers mistakenly believe they need to have like a stellar reputation or a large amount of influence to be successful at inviting. But Worre's own early experiences proved that this just isn't the case. He started with no established reputation and very little influence, remember?
Right. He contrasts his early approach as being a hunter versus adopting a farmer mentality later on. Can you elaborate on that distinction? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's a great analogy. In his early days, he approached inviting like a hunter, focused solely on the immediate kill.
Get the sign up.
Get the sign up. Aggressively pitching everyone he encountered, with the primary goal of getting them to sign up right away, often without much regard for building genuine connections.
Which probably turned people off.
Totally. It often made people feel like they were being hunted, and understandably, they started avoiding him. Professionals, on the other hand, adopt a farmer approach.
Okay.
They prioritize building authentic relationships, establishing trust, and then skillfully sharing their belief in their products and the opportunity in a natural conversational way. Their initial aim isn't immediate recruitment.
It's education.
It's education, exactly, and allowing them to make an informed decision about whether it's a good fit for them. This long-term nurturing approach yields far more sustainable results than the purely transactional hunter mentality. And that principle holds true in so many relationship-based endeavors, doesn't it?
Absolutely. What are the 2 primary methods that professionals use for inviting people?
Okay, they primarily invite people to either attend some form of event or to review a specific tool. Now, events can range from informal one-on-one coffee meetings to larger home gatherings, 3-way calls with experienced team members, webinars, even large hotel meetings and conventions.
So lots of options.
Lots of options. Professionals recognize that personal interaction is incredibly valuable for building rapport and transferring belief. Now, tools, that encompasses a variety of resources like CDs, DVDs back in the day, informative magazines, brochures, dedicated websites, online presentations, even product samples.
Physical versus digital tools.
Right.
Does he have a preference?
Well, while digital tools obviously offer convenience and accessibility, Worre highlights the enduring power of physical tools in building a sense of tangible legitimacy and trust, particularly in network marketing, something you can hold.
Interesting. He seems to emphasize using tools as maybe an initial step. What's the reasoning behind that? Why start with a tool?
Well, while live events are ultimately more impactful, you get that direct personal connection, the social proof. They can sometimes be challenging to schedule, right? Especially for individuals who are new and still building their confidence.
Matrix.
So, a well-designed tool offers a more convenient, maybe less intimidating way for busy prospects to get educated about the product or opportunity at their own pace. Worre shares how the introduction of a compelling video and later an audio cassette were absolute game changers for his business.
How so?
Because it created a simple, duplicable, daily method of operation that literally anyone on his team could follow. Hand out a tool, follow up. Simple.
And what does he consider the fundamental formula for achieving financial independence in network marketing? What's the secret sauce?
It boils down to this: getting a large number of people to consistently do a few simple, fundamental things over a sustained period of time.
Simple, not necessarily easy, though.
Exactly. This really underscores the importance of having a simple, duplicable system, like effectively inviting people to review a tool and then diligently following up with them. Consistency is key.
He then outlines 4 basic rules for effective inviting. Can you run through those key principles?
Sure. First, emotionally detach yourself from the outcome. Your primary focus should be on providing information and understanding, not just on getting that sale or new recruit. Let go of the result.
Okay. Detach. What's second?
Second, be authentically yourself. Don't try to adopt some persona or be someone you're not. Just be the best version of yourself. People sense authenticity. Third, bring genuine passion and enthusiasm to your invitations. Your belief in what you offer is absolutely contagious.
Got it. And fourth?
And fourth, cultivate and project strong posture, meaning a firm belief in the value of your product and the potential of your opportunity. Confidence.
Okay, detach, be yourself, bring passion, strong posture. And finally, he breaks down 3 distinct approaches to inviting. What are they, and maybe when would you use each one?
Right, the 3 invitation approaches are the direct approach, the indirect approach, and the super indirect approach. Okay. The direct approach is most effective with individuals who already know and respect you, or maybe with those you know are actively looking for new opportunities or solutions. You just come right out and address their potential needs or desires.
Makes sense for a warm market, maybe.
Yeah, or if someone actively looking. Then there's the indirect approach.
Yeah.
This involves asking the prospect for their help, input, or advice. Could you take a look at this for me?
Lowers defenses.
Exactly. It can be particularly useful for individuals who might be resistant to a direct pitch, as it appeals to their sense of expertise or allows them to evaluate the opportunity more subtly.
Clever. And the super indirect.
The super indirect approach is a powerful psychological tactic. You essentially tell the person they aren't necessarily a prospect for the business themselves.
This probably isn't for you, but...
Exactly. But do you happen to know anyone who might benefit? This often lowers their defenses even further and can really pique their curiosity. Sometimes it leads them to inquire for themselves.
Nice. He also highlights the power of that specific question. If I would you, would you? What makes that such an effective tool?
It immediately transforms the interaction, right? From a potentially one-sided pitch into a reciprocal business conversation. It asks for a mutual commitment of time and attention.
Like a trade.
Kind of. If I'm willing to invest the time to share information with you, are you willing to invest the time to review it? It just sets a more professional and respectful tone from the start.
What's his advice for handling prospects who immediately ask for more details before even looking at a tool? Just tell me what it is.
Yeah, that's common. Worre strongly advises against trying to explain everything on the spot. Instead, he recommends gently deferring back to the tool. Your response might be something like, look, I understand you're curious and want more information, but honestly, everything you're looking for, explained clearly and concisely, is right there on the CDBD website link.
The goal is to get them to engage with the information in a structured, effective way, not get into a confusing back and forth.
Makes sense. And then there are those crucial follow-up confirmation steps after someone agrees to review a tool. What are those?
Yes. 2 essential confirmation steps. Confirmation number 1 is securing a specific time commitment. Instead of suggesting a time yourself, ask them, realistically, when do you think you will have a chance to review this information thoroughly? Get their buy-in on the timing.
Okay, get their time.
Then, confirmation number 2 is to confirm that commitment. For example, okay, great. So if I give you a call on Wednesday, you will have definitely had a chance to take a look, right? Double check.
Lock it in. Lock it in. It's also important, obviously, to get their contact information if you don't already have it, and to keep that initial invitation brief and focused. He really emphasizes mastering the underlying principles of effective inviting rather than getting bogged down in memorizing exact scripts. Understand the why.
Okay, so we've successfully found our prospects. We've extended compelling invitations using one of those approaches. Now comes skill number 3, presenting your product or opportunity. What's the fundamental rule to remember here, according to Worre?
The most crucial takeaway, he says, is this. You are not the issue.
Meaning?
Meaning, don't try to be the sole expert. He reflects on his early attempts at presenting, where he tried to become the ultimate expert, memorizing every single detail about the company, the products, the compensation plan, thinking that that would impress potential recruits.
Sounds exhausting.
Totally. And he soon realized that this approach actually had some significant drawbacks.
Like what were the main pitfalls of trying to be the all-knowing expert?
Well, firstly, no matter how much you study and prepare, you'll inevitably encounter questions you just can't answer definitively, right?
Yeah, always happens.
Which can undermine your credibility if you've positioned yourself as the sole authority. Secondly, most prospects intuitively understand that you are likely not a long-established expert, so your attempts to appear as one can seem inauthentic, maybe even increase their skepticism.
Right. And the third thing?
And thirdly, and maybe most importantly, even if you do become a walking encyclopedia of information, it's not a duplicable model for your team.
Duplication. Key concept.
Absolutely. Your new members may not have the same inclination or ability to become instant experts, which can create a bottleneck where you become the only one capable of presenting effectively. That kills growth.
So if you're not meant to be the expert, what is the professional approach to delivering a presentation? What should you do?
Professionals position themselves more as facilitators or consultants. They skillfully connect their prospects with valuable resources, whether it's third-party tools like videos or websites, live or recorded events featuring experienced leaders, or even other successful distributors who can share their testimonials and insights.
So you're like a connector, a guide.
Exactly. If a prospect asks a specific question during this process, the professional guides them to find the answer within these resources, rather than directly providing it themselves. This whole approach is guided by that fundamental principle in network marketing. It doesn't matter what works, it only matters what duplicates.
Right. If only you can do it, it doesn't scale. He places a strong emphasis on using tools and events in the presentation process. Why are these so vital for achieving that duplication?
Well, tools ensure a consistent and accurate message is delivered every single time, right? And they can be easily leveraged by anyone on your team, regardless of their experience level. Events provide powerful social proof, a contagious atmosphere of excitement and belief, and education from multiple perspectives, all in a way that's really difficult to replicate in a one-on-one setting.
And connecting them with other distributors.
Yeah, connecting new prospects with successful distributors allows them to hear compelling personal stories and see tangible examples of what's possible. The professional, their role is to bring their own passion, enthusiasm, and unwavering belief to the process. But they strategically use these third-party resources to convey the factual information and build credibility. Let the tools and events do the heavy lifting.
He also highlights the significance of learning how to present to groups. What makes this skill so valuable for long-term success? Why stand up in front of people?
Worre famously quotes, "The person with the marker makes the money." Developing the ability to confidently and effectively present to groups, whether they're large or small, generally leads to significantly higher income and greater influence within your organization. He recommends focusing on mastering 3 key types of presentations. First, a concise and impactful personal testimonial that shares your why.
Your story.
Your story. Second, the standard opportunity presentation that outlines the business model clearly. And third, various training presentations designed to educate your team. He even shares his own pivotal experience of preparing diligently for a speaking contest at a company convention, illustrating the transformative power of preparation and the impact of effective public speaking. It changed things for him.
What are the key takeaways he offers regarding this skill, the skill of presenting? What should we remember?
Okay, the main points are: be the messenger, not necessarily the message itself. Leverage your tools and resources effectively. Passion and genuine enthusiasm are absolutely crucial. Learn to craft and deliver your personal story in a compelling and concise way. Master the standard opportunity presentation so you can share the vision clearly. And importantly, prioritize teaching your team members how to present as well. That's fundamental for true duplication and the long-term growth of your organization.
All right, we've effectively presented our product or opportunity using tools and maybe other people. Now comes a phase where I suspect many people falter. Skill number 4, following up with your prospects. Worre famously says, "The fortune is in the follow-up." Why is this statement so profoundly true in network marketing?
Because, quite simply, the vast majority of people involved in network marketing either don't follow up at all, or they do it in a very unprofessional and, frankly, ineffective manner.
So just doing it professionally sets you apart.
Hugely. To truly master this crucial skill, you need to internalize several key concepts. Concept number 1. Follow-up is nothing more than keeping your word, consistently doing exactly what you said you were going to do.
Sounds simple.
It sounds simple, but he shares a powerful story about a real estate client who abruptly ended a meeting after just 30 seconds because Worre's father was 10 minutes late.
Ouch.
Yeah, it underscores the profound importance of punctuality and just demonstrating that you value other people's time. Reliability builds trust.
That's a stark reminder of the impact of simply being reliable and respectful. Okay, what's concept number 2 in follow-up?
Concept number 2. The only reason to have an initial exposure, whether it's them looking at a tool or attending a presentation, is to set up the next exposure.
Always be setting the next appointment.
Exactly. He recounts his early mistake of ending presentations by asking a vague question like, "So what do you think?" Which, often led to awkward silences and no clear next step.
Yeah, what do you say to that?
Right. Instead, the primary goal should always be to schedule the next interaction, keeping the conversation and the process moving forward until the prospect makes a definitive decision, yes or no. Even if they initially decline to review a tool, try to find out when they might realistically have the time to do so for sure. The key is to never let an interaction conclude without a concrete plan for the next step.
Concept number 3 addresses the number of exposures it typically takes. What's the average, according to him?
He says the average person typically needs between 4 to 6 exposures to the information before they make a decision to join or become a customer. 4 to 6.
That many. Wow.
Yeah. Professionals understand this reality and therefore don't put undue pressure on prospects or get discouraged after just 1 or 2 attempts. Their focus remains on providing ongoing education and building a genuine relationship over multiple interactions. It's also important to remember that some individuals will require even more, maybe 10 exposures or more, before they feel comfortable making a decision.
So patience is key.
Absolutely. So while it's important to be proactive and urgent in your follow-up, you also need to be patient and persistent. It's a balance.
And concept number 4 deals with the timing and frequency of those follow-up exposures. What's the idea there?
Condense the exposures for better results. In today's fast-paced world, people are constantly bombarded with information, easily distracted, right?
For sure.
Stacking exposures closer together in time helps to maintain the prospect's interest and momentum, as opposed to spacing them out over extended periods, which can often feel like you're starting the process all over again with each interaction. Keep the heat on, so to speak, but gently.
Naturally, the follow-up process often involves addressing questions and objections. What's Worre's philosophy on handling these? Should we fear them?
No, not at all. He views questions and objections not as roadblocks or signs of disinterest, but actually as a natural and often positive part in the evaluation process.
How so?
Well, prospects ask questions because they're trying to better understand the information, right? And objections often reveal underlying concerns or limiting beliefs that they actually need help overcoming. The goal isn't to win an argument or pressure them into a decision, but rather to provide further education, clarify misunderstandings, and help them work through their concerns. See it as engagement.
He categorizes objections into 2 primary areas, correct? What are they?
Yes. The first category revolves around the prospect's limiting beliefs about their own abilities. Things like, "I don't have enough money," "I don't have enough time," or "I'm not a salesperson." Self-doubt.
Okay, internal beliefs. What's the second?
The second category encompasses their limiting beliefs about the network marketing industry itself. Common questions or concerns like, is this a pyramid scheme? Or is this one of those MLM things? External skepticism.
Got it. What's his fundamental approach to effectively addressing these objections, regardless of the category?
The cornerstone of his approach is empathy. Simple as that. It's about letting the prospect know that you understand how they feel, perhaps because you yourself had similar thoughts or concerns when you were first learning about network marketing.
Relatability.
Exactly. He strongly recommends using the feel, felt, found technique.
Ah, yeah, I've heard of that.
Right. I understand how you feel. I actually felt the same way when I first looked at this, but here's what I found. He emphasizes that sharing your own personal experiences or the stories of others who have successfully overcome similar objections is far more persuasive and impactful than relying on generic, scripted responses. People connect with stories.
How does he suggest handling some of the more common objections specifically? For instance, that I don't have the money one, or the classic, is this MLM?
Okay, for the I don't have the money objection, he suggests sharing your own story, if applicable, of perhaps not having readily available funds initially,
Hmm.
but recognizing the potential of the opportunity to change your financial situation and being resourceful in finding a way to get started.
Mm.
Then ask them a powerful question. If you truly felt this could significantly improve your financial future, do you honestly believe you couldn't find a way to make it happen? Put it back on them gently.
Okay. And the is this MLM question?
For that one, he advises first trying to understand the underlying concern behind the question. Often it stems from a previous negative experience or just a misunderstanding of the business model. Dig deeper. Yeah, let them share their past experiences, ask them what happened, and then share your own perspective and clearly address any misconceptions, including explicitly stating that legitimate network marketing is not the same as an illegal pyramid scheme. Address it head on.
What about, I don't want to bother my friends? That's a big one.
Yeah, common. For that, he suggests asking if they genuinely believe in the product or service being offered. If you loved this, would you tell people? And if they would naturally share something they were excited about, then offer to show them a way to share it professionally without resorting to a high-pressure sales pitch. Teach them the skills.
And the awkward one, how much money are you making?
Yes. He advises just being honest and transparent. If you're currently earning a significant income, great, share that appropriately. If you're new, simply say you're just getting started and are excited about the potential.
Okay.
If you've been involved for a while but haven't yet reached your income goals, you could focus on the part-time nature of your involvement and your optimism for the future. Or you could pivot the conversation to the success that others on your team are experiencing and maybe offer to connect them. Leverage third-party stories again.
Good strategies.
He reiterates that these are really common objections, and with practice and genuine empathy, they become much, much easier to address effectively. It's not about having a magic answer. It's about connecting.
Okay. We've diligently followed up maybe over 4 to 6 exposures, addressed any concerns with empathy. Now we move on to skill number 5. Helping your prospects become customers or distributors. This feels like the closing stage. What's the essential shift in mindset required here?
Well, this stage should feel like the natural progression of professional follow-up, not some high-pressure closing situation.
Yeah.
Your goal is simply to guide your now well-informed prospects to a confident decision, whatever that decision is.
Okay.
The key here is to maintain strong posture, that inherent belief in the value you offer, and to ask insightful questions that help them see the potential and assess their own level of commitment. Worre contrasts his earlier, maybe somewhat needy approach.
Please join.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
With the more professional, detached, yet confident and kind of assumptive approach of a seasoned pro, professionals genuinely expect people to recognize the value and choose to join because they sincerely believe it will benefit them. It's a different energy.
He mentions that professionals promote themselves as much as the product or opportunity. What does he mean by that? Are they bragging?
No, it's not about arrogance or boasting at all. It's more about conveying to the prospect that by joining your team, they're gaining access to your mentorship, your support, your guidance.
You get me too.
Exactly. You get me in your corner.
It provides a sense of reassurance that they won't be navigating this journey alone. Professionals are always well prepared with the necessary information, and they act like consultants, asking thoughtful questions to truly understand the prospect's individual needs, goals, and motivations.
What are the 4 key questions he advises asking to help prospects see the potential and evaluate their own commitment level?
Okay, these are really good. The 4 crucial questions are: 1, what is the level of monthly income that, if you were earning it consistently, would make a significant positive difference in your life? Get them dreaming a bit.
Okay, the income goal.
2, how many hours per week could you realistically and consistently dedicate to building this business? Be honest.
Time commitment.
3, for how many months are you willing to work those hours consistently in order to develop that desired income? The time frame.
Okay, months.
And fourth.
And 4, if I could show you a clear path to developing that income, working those hours over that time frame, would you be ready and willing to get started? The commitment question.
Powerful sequence.
Yeah. These questions help them to define their own why and to realistically assess their level of commitment. And if their income expectations are wildly unrealistic given their proposed time investment.
Like, I want $10K a month working 2 hours a week.
Exactly. It allows you to have an honest conversation and act as a consultant to help them set more achievable initial goals. If they don't provide a positive answer to that final question, it simply indicates they likely need more exposure or have unresolved concerns. Back to follow-up.
Okay, so let's say they answer positively, they're ready. Someone makes the decision to sign up. That feels like a major victory, right? But Worre emphasizes that the work doesn't end there. This leads us to skill number 6, helping your new distributor get started. Why is this phase so critical for long-term success? Why not just let them run?
Because it's all too easy to squander the effort you invested in recruiting someone if you then just leave them to figure things out on their own. It happens all the time.
Orphan distributors.
Totally. Professionals understand that providing new distributors with clear expectations, helping them achieve some quick initial wins, and offering ongoing guidance and support are absolutely vital for their long-term engagement, their success, and frankly, their retention within your organization. You want them to stick around.
He discusses a model from someone named Michael Nelson, the game plan interview, as a highly effective approach. What are the key components of this interview? What do you cover?
Right. It consists of 5 key parts. Part 1, validate their decision, offer sincere positive reinforcement, you made a great choice, and maybe address any lingering doubts they might have, like buyer's remorse.
Okay, make them feel good.
Part 2, set clear expectations. This is huge. Emphasize that their ultimate success is their own responsibility. You are there to guide and support, but not to do the work for them. The goal is their independence.
Tough love, kind of.
A bit. Also, have an open conversation about the inevitable ups and downs of building a business and ask how they would prefer you to support them through challenging times. When things get tough, should I push you or back off?
Good question to ask up front. Part 3.
Part 3, the getting started checklist. Just practical stuff. Ensure they have access to the necessary products, tools, training resources, a basic understanding of the compensation plan, and crucially, a clear understanding of how to start the inviting process. Get them equipped.
Part 4.
Part 4, create a realistic game plan for achieving the first few ranks. Focus on setting achievable short-term goals that will lead to early positive reinforcement. Things like acquiring their first customer, sponsoring their first distributor, attending a local event, or earning their very first commission check.
Quick wins build belief.
Absolutely. Early wins are crucial for building confidence and momentum. And Part 5, assign specific, measurable actions with clear deadlines. New distributors often crave clear direction and structure in the initial stages. Give them homework.
He refers to a metaphorical line between success and failure for new people. What does he mean by that line?
Yeah, it's that point where for a new distributor, it becomes psychologically easier to just quit than to persevere through the initial learning curve or challenges.
The dip.
The dip, exactly. As their sponsor and mentor, your primary job in those early days is to help them get over that line and, more importantly, to help them stay there. This involves celebrating their early successes, providing consistent encouragement and support during challenging times, and keeping them focused on their long-term goals. It's about being constantly aware of their emotional state and providing the right kind of positive reinforcement to keep them engaged and moving forward. Help them cross that line and stay over it.
Finally, we arrive at skill number 7, promoting events. Worre states unequivocally, meetings make money. Why are events considered so crucial in the world of network marketing, especially in our digital age?
Yeah, he emphasizes that while technology obviously plays an increasingly important role in communication and training, nothing can truly replace the power of face-to-face interaction and the collective energy of live events.
That buzz you get.
Exactly. Whether they are small local weekly meetings or larger regional and international destination events, they have a profound impact on the long-term growth and success of both individuals and the entire organization. And destination events, in particular where people actually travel, stay in hotels, immerse themselves fully in the experience, those are incredibly transformative.
He directly addresses and kind of refutes the idea that destination events are becoming obsolete in our digital age. What are the key benefits he highlights for making the effort to attend?
Okay, several big ones. First, they provide a dedicated opportunity to step away from daily distractions and fully refocus on your goals and your vision for the future. It leads to a powerful recommitment.
Like a reset.
Total reset. Second, you gain invaluable insights and renewed energy from hearing from top leaders and successful distributors. He shares a personal experience about a quote he heard at an event that fundamentally changed his thinking. Just one idea can make a difference. Third, they offer powerful social proof. Just seeing hundreds or even thousands of others who are also pursuing this path validates your decision to be involved. You realize you're not alone.
Strength in numbers.
Absolutely. Fourth, you witness firsthand the success of others, which can spark that crucial thought, wow, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Belief transfer.
Okay. Any more?
Yeah. Fifth, they create an environment of positive peer pressure through recognition programs and shared goals. It inspires you to strive for improvement by the next event. And perhaps most importantly, sixth, they foster a strong sense of community and belonging. You're surrounded by like-minded, positive individuals, all striving for similar goals. It's energizing.
So, what are the key strategies for professionals to effectively promote these events within their teams? It's not enough just to go yourself, right?
Right. The first and most critical step is personal commitment. Lead by example. Make sure you never miss a key destination event yourself. He shares his own early struggles to prioritize event attendance and how attending his first large event was a complete game changer for his business. You have to walk the walk.
Okay, lead by example. Step 2.
Step 2 is to actively be a promoter, not just a passive announcer of event details. Make the event a high priority in your communication. Consistently share the incredible value and benefits of attending, tell inspiring stories of how events have impacted others, and never assume that people will automatically understand the importance or register on their own. You have to sell the event.
Don't just announce, promote. Got it. Step 3.
Step 3 is crucial. Don't readily accept excuses from your team members for not attending, especially initially. Amateurs often accept the first excuse they hear, oh, okay, maybe next time. Professionals understand the transformative power of events and will gently work with their team members to understand the real obstacles and brainstorm potential solutions to help them get there.
Help them overcome the excuse.
Yeah. Tell your story. Don't buy theirs is a phrase sometimes used. He encourages thinking of your stock value within your organization as being directly tied to your and your team's consistent attendance at key events.
Interesting metric.
Yeah. The ultimate goal is to start with your own commitment, then focus on bringing just one team member with you to the next event, and then to continually grow that number over time. He considers consistent event promotion and attendance to be as close to a silver bullet as you can possibly find in network marketing.
Wow. Okay, so after laying out these 7 essential skills, Worre shifts his focus a bit to the importance of having a long-term perspective in building a successful network marketing business. What's his core message here? Why the long view?
Well, he cautions against those unrealistic get-rich-quick expectations that are sometimes associated with network marketing, right?
Yeah.
He contrasts it with the typical timelines for building success in traditional businesses or careers.
Takes time everywhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He states plainly, we have a better way, but we're not selling magic beans. He emphasizes that significant and lasting income growth is usually tied directly to personal growth and skill development.
You have to grow into the income.
Precisely. Income surges that aren't supported by a solid foundation of personal and professional development are often temporary and unsustainable. He echoes that idea that you only get to make what you are. You have to become the person capable of earning and managing that income.
He then introduces what he calls the 1-3-5-7 formula as a general guideline. Can you break that down?
Sure, it's a rough guide, but he suggests it might take around 1 year of consistent effort to become competent and profitable. Roughly 3 years of dedicated part-time work to potentially transition to a full-time income. Around 5 years to have the potential to reach a 6-figure annual income. And approximately 7 years to truly establish yourself as an expert in the field, a top leader.
7 years to become an expert.
Yeah, and he emphasizes that 7 years really isn't a particularly long time to achieve significant financial freedom, especially when you consider the flexibility that part-time effort allows in this business model, compared to becoming a doctor or lawyer.
Good point. He also dedicates a section to how to learn effectively and cultivate a mindset of becoming a permanent student. What are some of his key principles for continuous learning in this field?
Yeah, this is vital. He stresses that there are no truly bad or good experiences in business, only learning experiences. It's crucial to let go of being attached to specific outcomes and instead focus on extracting the lessons from every situation, win or lose.
Learn from everything.
Learn from everything. He points out that a defining characteristic of top earners is that they are active students of the business, always seeking to grow and improve their skills. Never stop learning.
How does he suggest doing that?
He advocates for modeling the behavior of successful individuals within your company. Don't try to reinvent the wheel when proven strategies and techniques already exist, and successful people are usually eager to share their knowledge. Just ask. He strongly recommends utilizing educational audio programs like the one we're discussing, and business books for continuous learning and personal development. He also reiterates the immense value of attending live events for that immersive learning experience.
Anything else?
He cautions about being mindful of the information you allow into your mind, garbage in, garbage out. Encourage a focus on the core 7 skills and positive growth-oriented content. But most importantly, he stresses the necessity of taking consistent action.
Learning isn't passive.
Exactly. True learning happens in the doing. Don't wait until you feel you have perfect knowledge. Overcome the fear of initial mistakes or embarrassment and start applying what you learn immediately. Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction.
He also shares the plan to review process.
Yeah, a simple but powerful framework for skill development he apparently used for decades. Plan your activity, do the activity, then review what worked, what didn't, and how you can improve next time. Simple cycle.
And teaching helps you learn.
Absolutely. He highlights that teaching others is one of the most effective ways to solidify your own understanding. And finally, he emphasizes the profound impact of your associations, who you hang around with.
Jim Rohn's law of averages.
Exactly. Consciously disassociate with toxic or negative influences, limit contact with those who drain your energy, and deliberately expand your inner circle to include positive, supportive, and growth-oriented individuals. Be intentional about your environment.
He then addresses the often overlooked necessity of hard work, even with the promise of greater freedom in network marketing. It's not a free ride, is it?
No, not at all. He's very clear that top earners in network marketing work diligently and consistently, despite the potential for a flexible and rewarding lifestyle. True and lasting freedom requires consistent effort, a commitment to developing those essential skills, and a willingness to step into leadership.
Dispelling the myth.
Totally. It's crucial to dispel the misconception that network marketing is some sort of get-rich-easy scheme. It's good, honest work, and he believes it represents the most accessible and viable path to achieving genuine freedom for the average person who is willing to put in the effort.
Finally, he concludes by discussing the multifaceted rewards of pursuing network marketing with that professional mindset. It's not just about money, is it? What are some of the key benefits he outlines beyond the income?
Right, it's much broader. He paints a really compelling picture of the significant rewards. He highlights the potential to create a fulfilling high-income career that also offers incredible freedom and flexibility with a relatively low barrier to entry compared to many other professional fields.
Freedom is a big one.
Huge. He speaks to the joy of true freedom, having choices, living life on your own terms, even recapturing some of that childhood sense of limitless possibility. He emphasizes the profound impact you can have on the lives of others, helping them see a bigger picture for themselves, offering hope, encouraging them to pursue their dreams. The ripple effect.
What else?
He talks about the quality of the people you'll meet, passionate entrepreneurs who become lifelong friends and mentors, the opportunity to connect with individuals you might otherwise never encounter. He mentions the exciting possibilities for travel and experiencing new places that often come with success.
Contribution.
Yeah, he also discusses the ability to contribute to causes you care about, not just with money, but with your time and growing influence. And perhaps most importantly, he emphasizes the incredible personal growth, the positive transformation you'll undergo as you face challenges, solve problems, develop new skills, cultivate a resilient and positive mindset.
The journey itself.
Exactly. The person you become on the journey is arguably the greatest reward of all. He concludes that while it can be challenging, maybe emotionally demanding at times, pursuing network marketing professionally is ultimately incredibly worthwhile.
So as we conclude our in-depth exploration of Eric Worre's GoPro based on the audio you sent us, what's the key takeaway that you, our listener, should really hold on to from all this?
Well, I think the central message is powerfully clear. Network marketing, when approached with a professional mindset that prioritizes the consistent development and application of those 7 fundamental skills, it offers a legitimate and potentially transformative better way to achieve both significant financial success and greater personal freedom in today's, rapidly evolving economic landscape.
And as you reflect on Worre's valuable insights, maybe take a moment to really consider those 7 core skills: finding prospects, mastering the art of inviting, presenting effectively, following up with diligence, guiding prospects to a decision, ensuring your new distributors get off to a strong start, and consistently promoting events. Where do you see potential areas for your own growth and application? Regardless of your current professional path or aspirations, perhaps it would be beneficial to revisit your own goals and resources with this new framework in mind.
And maybe just finally, consider this thought. What does professional success truly mean to you? And how might the underlying principles we talked about, dedication to skill development, consistent effort, maintaining a long-term vision, how might those principles, as championed by Worre, be applicable to achieving your own unique definition of success, whatever that may be? What might going pro look like in your own life and endeavors? Something to chew on?